over here we have the Cooler Master Express 922M half, and we have the components of our new computer. Why don't you name them off, Dad?
We chose to use the Asus Sabertooth 990 FX motherboard, about 185 bucks at Fry's. We had good luck with Asus, so we're staying with the Asus products as much as we can. On that, she will be rocking a AMD FX 6100 6-core black processor. We went with the AMD because we could get more processing power out of this for the same money as compared to the Intel chipset. So it was just a way that we went to try to save a little bit of money. Our goal was to try to build a system for about $1,000, and we wound up at about $1,200 as we upgraded some stuff, and you'll see that as we go along. On that chipset, we're obviously going to have some RAM. We decided to go with 8 gigabytes of RAM. We went with the Corsair brand 2 4-gigabyte chips. That will go on the motherboard. The motherboard is expandable with 4 slots, so we can easily go to 16 or 32, which is the max for this motherboard. 8 gig should do pretty much everything that we need it to do. This is the most exciting piece. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out what graphics card we were going to put on, and we ultimately matched the AMD chipset with an AMD graphics card, and we went with the Radeon 6870. We were debating against the 7770 basically. It was about the same price, and Kyle actually did some great research, and he learned that essentially this 6 is a is basically a generation number. So this is the 6th generation, whereas the 7770 is a 7th generation, so it's a newer chipset. But then this basically is the progression or the step within the actual chipset. So it's a 6th generation, it's an 800 series chip, and then also within those they have versions of, they have a 20, a 30, a 40, a 50, a 60, and a 70. So we've got the 6th generation, top of the line 8 series, and then really high end on the graphics chip. Comes with 1 gig of RAM. Should run most of the games in a really high mode. Probably won't run them all in max without totally maxing out the video card and the processor. And this is an easy component to upgrade when we get a little more cash later. We can easily swap out and sell this on the secondary market. So hard drive. We just went with a 2 terabyte hard drive. You can't really go over 2 terabytes. Windows 7, which we're going to run on this machine, cannot partition and cannot run a drive larger than a 2 terabyte drive. So buying a 3 terabyte, 4 terabyte drive is great. You're going to have to partition it under 2 terabytes anyway. So this one just happened to be returned. They didn't open it or use it, so we got a 5% discount, save a little money. With the flood in Thailand, hard drives are really expensive, so this normally would have probably cost us about $100, and in this case, this cost us a little over $100. I think it was about $150 for a 2 terabyte drive. And they're also in short supply, so you might have to shop around for what drive you want. This is a late ad. We weren't planning on doing this, but just because of where we decided to put it, we wanted it to also be wireless. So we chose a D-Link PCI Express. This runs N. We run N through our house through a Linksys router. So the D-Link will be able to pick up and connect wirelessly to our network. This was relatively cheap. I want to say it was about $60. And again, it was an ad. We weren't initially planning on doing it. The fun part, this is super cheap, right? This is just OEM Asus parts, about 25 bucks. It's just a 24-speed drive. The only reason we need it is really to install software onto the new computer. Most of the stuff we're going to do anyway is going to be downloaded. So internet connection kind of bypassing drives now. So we opted to not do Blu-ray. Our case that you saw earlier has a myriad of drives. We can actually have 4 different drives. We can also have 6 different hard drives. So theoretically, we could max this case out with anywhere from 60 terabytes of hard drive space, and we could put Blu-rays and all kinds of fun stuff in there. And the only issue with putting a bunch of components in a case is the more components you put in, the reduced airflow you have in the case. And with the reduced airflow, then you build up heat, and with heat, then you're into liquid cooling. This is actually not going to be liquid cooled. We'll monitor the temperature in the case, and if we need to, we'll liquid cool the CPU. Powering all of that fun stuff is a way overkill power supply. Kyle liked the box, actually, which is why we went for the 750 watt power supply.
GX.
Really, you match your power supply to the power requirements on your video card. Your video card's the primary draw of your power. So your video card will tell you how much power you have to have, and I believe our video card, we needed about 500 watts of power. With 750 watts of power, we can add accessories to this. One thing when you're choosing a power supply that's really important to remember is if you're somebody who likes to plug in a lot of USB devices into your computer, and you like maybe run a USB device out and you run it into a hub, and then you power like 30 devices off of a hub, that power actually comes through the USB and draws additional power off your power supply. So your power supply has to be strong enough to support that. So we went with 750 watts. We know it's overkill. The price between a 500 watt was about 70 bucks. This was $99. It's a Cool Master, so it matches our case, which is also good for form factor. And we then are able to slide this in, have an extra 250 watts that we can use for cool things like LED lights. So we're gonna just light it a little bit. We're gonna throw 2 blue LEDs in there, so it has a little bit of a cool factor to it. It'll glow a little bit. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. You can get LED lights that bend, you can get outside LED lights, you can get LED lights that that move, that you can control the sequence to. You can get LED lights that also have audio chips on them, and it'll make noises or talk to you when it's powered up. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Last but not least, our friends at Microsoft will be powering the computer with a Microsoft 7. It's about 100 bucks, $99. This is just the Office Home Premium. No need to go professional on this because we're not doing a lot of networking. So it'll be on a home network here locally. So those are our components. As we go through the build, we'll probably create additional videos and bring them to you. So this is exciting. It's Kyle's first computer build. He geeks out on a lot of these parts. So we're actually going to try to build one, and hopefully we're successful. So we'll see you in the next video.